Rich people don't work for money.
Correct. Money is debt. I use debt as money.
Did you know that even high earners can end up broke? Take Mike Tyson, the famous boxer. At the height of his career, he was worth over $300 million. Yet by 2003, he filed for bankruptcy. How does that even happen? Well, it turns out there are certain habits that can drain your wallet, no matter how much money you're making. In this video, we're going to talk about 10 common habits of the middle class that could drain your wallet if you're not careful. We'll break down everything from credit card debt to lifestyle inflation, and we'll give you tips on how to avoid falling into these financial traps. So, if you're curious about whether any of these habits might be affecting your wallet, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll have a better idea of what to watch out for and how to keep more of your money where it belongs. And hey, if you find this helpful, why not hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about credit cards. They're super convenient, right? You just swipe and bam, you've got what you need. You don't have to carry cash, you can shop online, and some cards even give you rewards or cash back. But here's the thing. Credit cards can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they offer convenience and flexibility, but on the other, they can lead to a spiral of debt if you're not careful. See, the trouble starts when you start relying on credit cards for everyday expenses. It's so easy to do. Grab a coffee, fill up the gas tank, or pick up some groceries. Swipe, swipe, swipe. The next thing you know, you've got a big balance on your card, and you're not sure how you're going to pay it off. Plus, those interest rates? They can be sky high, especially if you have a lower credit score. What really gets you is the minimum payment. It might seem like you're getting by, but if you're only paying the minimum, you're barely scratching the surface of your debt. It's like you're just paying off the interest, not the actual balance. And that means you could end up paying a lot more in the long run. Here's a tip. Try to pay off the full balance every month. If that's not possible, at least pay more than the minimum. And if you're in too deep, consider consolidating your credit card debt into a lower interest loan. It could save you a ton in interest. Another thing to watch out for is using credit cards to cover emergencies. If you're turning to your credit card every time something unexpected happens, that's a red flag. It means you might not have enough of a safety net, and that's where things can get really dicey. So before you swipe, think about whether it's something you really need. If you find yourself relying on credit cards to get by, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate. Remember, credit cards should be a tool, not a crutch. Keep them under control, and you'll keep your wallet in good shape. All right, let's talk about subscriptions. You know, those automatic payments for all kinds of services. It starts off small, like, hey, Netflix is only $10 a month. Then you add Spotify for your music, Disney Plus for the kids, and before you know it, you're knee-deep in monthly charges. It's like your wallet's on autopilot, and it's driving straight into a subscription storm. The tricky thing is, these services are designed to be super convenient. They make it so easy to sign up, and then they just keep billing you without any fanfare. Ever notice how you never get a reminder when your subscription renews? That's because they count on you forgetting about it. And let's be honest, how many times have you signed up for a free trial and then completely forgotten to cancel before they start charging? Exactly. It happens to the best of us. Another problem with subscriptions is that you don't always use them as much as you think you will. Like, when was the last time you actually watched anything on that premium cable channel? Or read that online magazine you subscribed to because it had one cool article? And don't even get me started on the gym memberships. So many people pay for them, but how often do they actually go? So here's a simple fix. Go through your bank statements or credit card bills and make a list of all your subscriptions. You'll probably be surprised at how many there are. Now be honest with yourself. Do you really need all of them? If you're not using a service regularly, cancel it. You can always sign up again later if you really miss it. And while you're at it, think about sharing subscriptions with friends or family. Like, if you and your buddy both have the same music streaming service, why not share a family plan? It's cheaper, and you're still getting the same benefits. Subscriptions can be great, but if you don't keep them in check, they can turn into a budget-busting monster. So take control of them before they take control of your wallet. Let's talk about lifestyle inflation. It's one of those things that sneaks up on you, especially when you start making a bit more money. You know the feeling, your income goes up, and suddenly you feel like it's time to upgrade everything. New car, bigger house, more vacations. It's like you've been living a certain way, but now you've got a little extra cash to spend, so why not treat yourself, right? But here's the thing. This habit is one of those common habits of the middle class that could drain your wallet. It's not just about treating yourself, it's about getting used to a higher standard of living that can quickly outpace your income. Think about it, you get a raise, and instead of saving or investing, you start spending more. A nicer car might mean higher insurance. A bigger house leads to more maintenance costs. And before you know it, you're back to feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck, even though you're earning more. What's tricky is that lifestyle inflation can be gradual. It doesn't hit you like a ton of bricks. It's more like a slow leak, slowly but surely draining your wallet. You don't always notice it until you're knee-deep in new expenses and wondering where all your money went. It's easy to justify each upgrade. I deserve this. Or, I need that. But if you're not careful, you can end up with a lifestyle that's way too expensive to maintain. The key is to keep your focus on your long-term financial goals. Sure, it's great to have nice things, but are they worth sacrificing your financial stability instead of splurging on a new gadget or a fancy night out? Maybe think about putting that money into your emergency fund or retirement savings. It's all about finding a balance that works for you and doesn't leave you broke at the end of the month. Lifestyle inflation can sneak up on anyone, and if you're not careful, it can become one of those common habits in the middle class that drain your wallet. I hope this video is useful for you. If you want more videos like this, please comment video and I'll keep making them. All right, let's talk about something super important, emergency funds. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Emergency fund? What's that? Well, think of it like your financial safety net. It's that stash of cash you keep for when life throws you a curveball. Picture this, you're cruising along, everything's going great, and then bam, you hit a bump in the road. Maybe your car breaks down or you suddenly lose your job. Without an emergency fund, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You might end up relying on credit cards or loans to cover those unexpected expenses, and trust me, that's not a fun place to be. So here's the deal. Experts recommend having about 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up. That might sound like a lot, but it's worth it. It's like having a superhero cape tucked away in your closet for when you need it most. Having an emergency fund gives you peace of mind. It means you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. It's like having an umbrella in your bag on a rainy day. You might not need it every day, but when you do, you'll be glad you have it. Now, building up an emergency fund takes time and discipline. It's not something you can snap your fingers and magically create overnight, but every little bit counts. Even if you can only set aside a small amount each month, it's better than nothing. So take a look at your budget and see where you can trim some fat. Maybe cut back on those daily Starbucks runs or cancel that subscription you never use. Every penny you save can go towards building your emergency fund. And remember, emergencies happen to everyone. It's not a matter of if, but when. So start building that financial safety net today. Now let's talk about one of those sneaky things that can drain your wallet without you even noticing: eating out and convenience foods. I mean, who doesn't love a good meal out, right? But those little dinners and quick takeout lunches can really add up over time. Think about it, you might grab coffee and a muffin in the morning, then pick up lunch from that food truck near work. After a long day, you're too tired to cook, so it's pizza or Chinese takeout for dinner. It seems harmless, but do that a few times a week and you're talking hundreds of dollars a month, sometimes more. That's why eating out and convenience foods are one of those common habits that could drain your wallet. Plus, there's the whole extra costs thing. You might order takeout, and then there's delivery fees, taxes, and tips on top of the food. Suddenly, your $10 meal is costing you $20. If you do that a few times a week, you're burning a hole in your budget before you know it. Now, I get it. Cooking at home can be a lot of work. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. You can make a big pot of soup or chili on the weekend, and it'll last you for days. Or try meal prepping. chop up your veggies, cook some chicken, and just mix and match during the week. It might take a little planning, but trust me, it's worth it. Not only does it save you money, but it's also healthier. It's all about finding those small ways to cut back on spending. Next time you're tempted to hit that delivery app, just think about the money you could save by whipping up something simple at home. Now let's talk about impulse spending and retail therapy. You know how it goes. You've had a long day. Everything seems to be going wrong. And you just want a little something to make you feel better. Next thing you know, you're at the mall, or you've got a bunch of tabs open on your favorite online shopping site. Before you know it, you're buying things you don't really need, just because it feels good in the moment. Retail therapy might give you a quick mood boost, but it's not a long-term solution for stress or boredom. The problem is, those little splurges add up. A cute pair of shoes here, a new gadget there, and suddenly you're staring at your credit card bill wondering how it got so high. It's like that saying, death by 1,000 cuts. No single purchase seems like a big deal, but when they all pile up, it can be overwhelming. Retailers know this too. They use all sorts of tricks to get you to buy on impulse. Flash sales, buy one, get one deals, and those sneaky end-of-aisle displays, they're all designed to make you think, I have to have this right now. But take a step back and ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just shopping because I'm bored or stressed? A good trick to curb impulse spending is the wait-and-see approach. If you see something you want, wait 24 hours before buying it. If you still want it the next day, go ahead and get it. But more often than not, you'll find that the urge to buy has passed. This simple habit can save you a ton of money and keep your finances on track. Plus, it helps you focus on what really matters rather than filling your life with stuff you don't really need. All right, let's talk about retirement planning. Now, I know it's not the most exciting topic, but trust me, it's super important. Here's the deal. A lot of us put it off because, well, retirement feels like it's light years away, right? But here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, the better off you'll be. Think of it like this. Retirement is like a long vacation you've been dreaming about. You want to make sure you've got enough money saved up to enjoy it, right? That's where retirement planning comes in. It's like setting aside a little bit of money each paycheck, so you can kick back and relax later on. Now, I get it, saving for retirement can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Start small. Maybe you can't afford to put away a huge chunk of your paycheck right now, and that's okay. Even a little bit adds up over time. It's like planting seeds in a garden. You water them a little bit each day, and eventually you've got a beautiful garden full of flowers. And hey, if your employer offers a retirement plan like a 401(k) with a matching contribution, jump on that. It's like getting free money. Seriously, you'd be crazy not to take advantage of it. So take a look at your finances. Are you putting enough away for retirement? If not, it's never too late to start. Even if you're just starting out, every little bit helps. Now let's talk about home ownership. You finally get the keys to your new place, and it's a huge moment, right? You imagine the housewarming parties, the family gatherings, and maybe even painting the walls your favorite color. It's a dream come true for a lot of people. But here's what doesn't always get mentioned when you're buying a home, all the extra costs that come with it. First off, there's property taxes. These can vary depending on where you live, but they can be a substantial chunk of change every year. And guess what? They tend to go up over time. It's like the price tag on your house isn't just a one-time thing. It keeps on growing. Then there's maintenance. Things break, wear out, or just need a little TLC. You might need to replace the roof, fix the plumbing, or get a new HVAC system. And don't forget about landscaping. Keeping your yard in shape can require some serious effort and cash. Insurance is another big one. You need homeowners insurance to protect your investment, but it can be expensive, especially if you live in an area prone to natural disasters. And let's not forget those homeowners association, HOA fees if your neighborhood has them. They can cover anything from community maintenance to amenities, but they're another recurring cost to consider. So when you're buying a home, remember that the sticker price isn't the final cost. There's a lot more that goes into it. Before you sign on the dotted line, make sure you've budgeted for all these extras. That way, you won't end up with a house that's more of a financial burden than a dream home. Now let's get real about debt. We all have it, and it's not the end of the world. But if you ignore it, it can snowball into a much bigger problem. Think of it like that drawer in your house, where you keep shoving stuff. At first, it's just a few things, but before you know it, you can't even close it. Debt can be like that drawer, easy to fill but hard to manage when it's overflowing. Here's the deal. Having debt isn't inherently bad, but not managing it can be a killer. If you're just paying the minimum on your credit cards or letting student loan payments slide, you're inviting trouble. You might not notice it at first, but those interest rates and late fees add up fast. Before you know it, you're in a hole that feels impossible to climb out of. The best way to tackle debt is to face it head on. Start by listing out everything you owe, from credit cards to car loans to that small balance on your retail card. Get a clear picture of your total debt and who you owe it to. This isn't fun, but it's essential. Once you know what you're dealing with, it's time to make a plan. Some people like the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest debts first to build momentum. Others prefer the debt avalanche, where you target the debts with the highest interest rates. The method doesn't matter as much as taking action and sticking with it. And don't forget to look for opportunities to consolidate your debt or lower your interest rates. Call your credit card company and ask for a lower rate, or consider a balance transfer if it makes sense. These small steps can make a big difference. Debt doesn't have to control your life, but it does require some attention. If you keep shoving it into that drawer, it'll just keep piling up. All right, let's talk about something crucial: insurance. You know, that thing you pay for every month and hope you never have to use? Well, here's the thing. A lot of middle-class folks are walking around with insurance that's about as effective as a leaky umbrella. Imagine this. You're driving down the road, minding your own business, when suddenly, bam! You're in a car accident, your car is wrecked, and you're left with a mountain of medical bills. Now, if you've got good insurance, it's like having a superhero swoop in and save the day. But if you're underinsured, it's more like being left out in the rain with that leaky umbrella. So, here's what you need to do. Take a good, hard look at your insurance policies. Are they covering everything you need them to? Are you paying for stuff you don't even understand? It's time to get serious about your coverage. Start by talking to an insurance agent you trust. They can help you figure out what you need and what you don't. And don't be afraid to ask questions. This is your money we're talking about, so make sure you're getting your money's worth. Now, I know insurance can be a pain. Nobody likes shelling out money for something they hope they'll never need. But trust me, it's worth it. Because when life throws you a curveball, and it will, you'll be glad you had that umbrella, even if it is a little leaky. So there, you have it. 10 common habits of the middle class that could drain your wallet. I hope this video helped you see where you might be losing money and gave you some ideas for making changes. If this video was beneficial to you, make sure to check out my follow-up video for a comprehensive understanding that builds on what you've just learned. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. I appreciate your support and see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy financial and abundant life.